Come on.
All the breaking news, these free agency signings. I got my guy, AK, Andy Kamenetzky. AK, how are you doing today?
I am right now a multitasking ball knower. That's what I'm doing right now. I got a bunch of stuff all in the air, and I'm juggling it all, but there's always time for my dude, Deondre Hawkins.
Look, man, we are true ball knowers, as Greg Bergman likes to call us. Now we are true ball knowers, but AK, let's just get right into it, man. First and foremost, I need your thoughts on LeBron James making that decision to not return to the Los Angeles Lakers.
I'm not surprised. Like, over the season, it's felt all over the place. At times, it felt like he was out the door the second it was possible. There were other times where it felt like, he's liking this role with Luka and Austin. He's succeeding. He might not have better options. Family's here. Bronny's here. He likes LA. But I've been saying for a few weeks leading up to where we are now, my read on this situation was the closer the Lakers got to free agency kicking was going to be a factor, it would have behooved LeBron to figure this out with the Lakers ahead of time, just because the Lakers had the most flexibility to pay him the most. If he's not making money as big of a priority, then to me that signaled him looking to leave, just because at that point it signals, A, he wants a wider variety of options, B, the discontent that has always been there between Team LeBron Clutch / the Lakers. We've known about it. It's been an open secret. I don't think it's hostile. I described this for several years as a marriage of inconvenience. It's always felt like both sides, if they felt like they had a better option, would take it. And ultimately, it seems like both sides concluded they have a better option and they took it.
Yeah, for sure. And I totally agree with all that. And honestly, we felt like it was time. It was time just to end the LeBron James era with the Los Angeles Lakers. We knew that this time with Luka Doncic and Austin Reaves, we knew that the Lakers were trying to build upon that. So it just seemed that LeBron James making that decision to go somewhere else just seemed right in this window that you have right now with Luka Doncic and Austin Reaves. But we were always skeptical as far as how can the Lakers bring in that A-list center? How can they find any room, any margin to find that A-list center? And there's news this morning. They were able to pull it off in a sign-and trade with the Utah Jazz. The Los Angeles Lakers acquired Walker Kessler from the Utah Jazz for unprotected first-round picks in 2031 and 2033, and first-round swaps in 2028 and 2030. Now, by the way, Kessler will sign a massive 4-year, $130 million deal with the Lakers. AK
player option in the fourth year.
We gotta make sure. We throw that out there.
That's Rob's happy place.
It's
player option.
Player option in the fourth year.
And we're gonna revisit player options before the show ends.
Yes,
again, there are player options to go around. By the end of the show, DeAndre and I may have player options from the Lakers. They're just giving them out, man.
Exactly. So that's how it seems with Rob Pelinka. He loves those player options. But initially, your thoughts on the Lakers actually having the creativity to pull this trade off, knowing how stubborn Danny Ainge is?
Well, you knew that one way or the other, if the Lakers are dealing with Danny Ainge, and a reminder, Danny Ainge, or the Ainge family, I forgot the name of the son that I think is actually more in charge than Danny, but the Ainge family, they ended up minor players in the Luka deal because we know that they offloaded Jalen Hood-Schifino, I believe a second or a pick, in order to help facilitate the Luka deal, but the Jazz at the time did not realize this was the Luka deal.
Yeah.
They just were offered essentially Jalen Hood-Schifino and sweetener.
Exactly.
So it must have pissed them off knowing they helped the Lakers get Utah. So get Luka. So one way or another, they're going to have to pay up. The 130 mil, 32.5 AAV. It is a little bit lower than I thought. Some people projected might be necessary to pry away Walker Kessler from the Jazz. The Jazz have had plenty of opportunities over the years to move him, never had, which is why I had always been skeptical that they ultimately would. But the 2 firsts that the Lakers sent out made that happen. The 32.5, like I said, it's a little bit lower than some of the projections, but make no mistake, it's a big investment, as are the 2 firsts. That being said, we had kind of reached a point where Rob was going to need to use those firsts.
For sure.
And particularly, too, if Walker Kessler and Jalen Duren, who were clearly the primary targets, like the number 1 targets for the Lakers, if you were going to go the restricted free agent route, which is always more complicated, and the cap space route, and had spent all this time building up to where we are now, that was your methodology. If you're not willing to put the firsts on the table to get your number 1 target, then really what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Like, whether you like this for Kessler or not, like, you have to be willing to go all in, and they did.
Yeah.
And they got their number 1 priority, I think, both organizationally and from what Luka wanted. Walker Kessler, I think he's a bit overrated in the sense that he's never played in games with stakes.
For sure.
Like, his entire career, he's never been to the playoffs.
I mean, Utah tanks a lot.
Yeah. So it's clear. I am not putting that on Walker Kessler.
For sure.
This is not a commentary on Kessler as somebody who can carry a team or whatever. He's not supposed to be.
Yeah.
I'm just saying he has no experience playing in games with stakes. The most amount of wins he's ever been a part of is 37. That was his rookie season, and it's continually gotten worse. So I've said he's overrated in the sense that you really have no idea what he's like in high leverage games. And the Lakers are making a big bet in some ways on projection.
Yeah.
That being said, what he has shown when healthy, health is going to be something to monitor. He can be an absolute force defensively as a lane protector, as an overall defender. He rebounds the hell out of the ball on both sides of the glass. He is big. He is somebody that I think can be a great screen and roll partner for Luka. He has good hands. He doesn't necessarily have a particularly varied offensive skill set, but what he's good at, he is shown to be very good at. I think he needs to learn to be a little more aggressive and confident with that. But defensively, he is the prototype of what you want for a team that is built around Luka and Austin.
And Brooke, who works on our social media team, she asked me a very, very good question before we started the show. She says, what makes you so confident of the Lakers signing Walker Kessler and pairing him alongside Luka Doncic and Austin Reaves? And I simply responded by saying that Luka Doncic has been to the finals. He had 2 big men in Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford and got the most out of them. Mm-hmm. And now Austin Reaves, he's potentially on the verge of becoming an all-star. If he didn't get hurt, we'd probably look at Austin Reaves being a first all-star selection bid. And so you see what they're able to do in the pick-and-roll game, the creativity coming off the screen and roll, and actually having a guy that's willing to roll to the basket. That is ideally what you want.
And can set screens.
And set screens, set hard-nosed screens, and actually knows his spots. Not to take anything away from DeAndre Ayton, but this is...
let's be honest. You are. You always are. You're always looking to take away from
Look, man.
You gave it a try.
Let me just, for you guys, I gave DeAndre Ayton a try. He did well. Let me say, he did really well in that Houston Rockets series, but it was not going to be sustainable for another season. I'm just being brutally honest. By them getting Walker Kessler, this is what the Lakers wanted. They made the deal. Now, hopefully, this pays off in the long run. And I feel like he's on the same time frame with Luka Doncic.
Oh, he's young. He's turning 25 this year. The Lakers got younger this year, considerably younger. Like, Austin Reaves may be the oldest guy in the rotation right now.
He's 28. He's
Right.
the oldest guy in this
Like,
team.
one of the goals of this offseason was to get younger, big time check. Another one was to get more athletic. At worst, it's a push. I'd say they probably are overall more athletic.
Yeah.
They certainly didn't get less athletic. They needed to have more defensive integrity. If nothing else, Walker Kessler is a big piece of it. I don't think they checked all the boxes.
For sure.
And he's not going to solve all the problems, but he's a big piece of what they want to do moving forward.
Yeah, I totally agree. So now, with that being said, let's just go down the list. Let's do a comparison to what the Lakers lost as far as Marcus Smart, as far as Luke Kennard, and the potential that Rui Hachimura is looking like he is going to be.
I think it's more than potential.
It's more, yeah. He's most likely going to be on the move.
Unless he's willing to give the Lakers one hell of a discount, in which case give the man a statue.
Exactly.
Now.
Yeah.
Like right now.
So the Lakers replaced those three guys, and including LeBron James. They signed Quentin Grimes. He signed a 4-year, $60 million deal. By the way, a player option. Let's make sure we throw that out there. It is a player option. They also signed. I'm not going to try to pronounce this. I'm going to try. How about this? I'm going to try for you guys. Sandro Mamukelashvili. I think
yeah.
Okay.
I think that works.
Okay.
I think that works.
By the way, I'm not going to be doing that the whole season. I'm just going to be strictly saying Mamu. He's Mamu to us. So they replaced Rui essentially with Mamu, and then they also signed.
What's Mamu got?
I keep on forgetting. I have to remind you guys. He has a player option as well, and then they also were able to sign Colin Sexton to a 2-year, $19 million deal with what, AK?
I don't know if he has a player option.
He does have a player option.
He does?
He does have a
well, I mean, at this point, you're going to make him feel like the odd man out if you don't give him one.
Exactly.
Like, I mean, he's going to look around like, bro, what's wrong with me?
So
I'm more proven than Mamu.
Exactly. So by going down that list and doing a comparison to what they had with those four guys and to this new these four guys that they're replacing with. So let's just go by it. Quentin Grimes, Marcus Smart. You will want Quentin Grimes at this point over Marcus Smart, correct?
It depends on what you're looking for and what, in a lot of ways, I think this will be a common talking point with Grimes, with Sexton, with Mamu, maybe even to some degree with Kessler, but I think those three mainly. It depends a lot on what are the asks, who else is around them.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a more well-rounded two-way player, I think you can make an argument that Grimes is more of that than Smart. He is certainly more of a proven, I think, sort of reliable, consistent, less swings. We often describe offensively the Marcus Smart experience.
For sure.
The fourth quarter, he's often nails. First 3 quarters, lots going on.
Yeah.
I think Grimes will be steadier. I think he is a solid, not necessarily great defender. I would not count on him. I'm happy to be wrong. Like, I'm very happy to be wrong. I wouldn't confidently count on him to elevate a defense the way Marcus Smart elevated the Lakers. He is also slighter than Marcus Smart, and I don't know if he can pick up the same variety of assignments. Like, certainly I don't feel confident with Quentin Grimes guarding fours.
Yeah.
The way Smart could just often use his strength and, like,
his savviness.
Yeah, I was going to say elite anticipation.
Exactly.
But if you're asking me who is overall on balance more of a two-way player or well-rounded, you can make an argument at the very least that it's Grimes. Like, I need to watch more film on him. I need to really dig into him. He's a good player. Again, he's younger.
Yes.
I'm very curious to see how he's going to be used defensively.
Yeah.
He is on the smaller side of what he projects to be.
For sure.
But I again, like a lot of these things, in a vacuum, I like the signing.
And I think Quentin Grimes has a lot more wiggle than him on the offensive end of the floor. He's a very high volume shooter. He likes to do things essentially off the dribble. But guess what? He can also spot up and shoot. Yeah. So that's exactly what you want to put alongside Luka Doncic. And I'm surprised that the Philadelphia 76ers weren't trying to retain him. I know that they're trying to figure out other things as far as on their roster, but Quentin Grimes is now a Los Angeles Lakers. So we did a comparison between Grimes and Marcus Smart. Now, the biggest one that everybody in the YouTube chat everybody that has been all around Lakers Twitter is Mamu being signed to the Los Angeles Lakers. And with that being said, it's more than likely that Rui Hachimura is going to be on the move. There has been some names as far as teams that are interested in Rui Hachimura. The one being San Antonio Spurs. I'll get your thoughts on that in just a little bit. I personally wish the Lakers would have retained Rui. He's shown some signs of growth throughout his Lakers tenure. I know that there's been moments where you're like, damn, Rui, shoot the ball more. Why is he so lost?
Or give him the ball more.
Yeah, give him the ball more. Why does he look so lost offensively? And then defensively, is he able to get better? Can he be a guy that can be able to rotate on help side? All those different types of things. And then I'm like, okay, we've seen some glimpses. We've seen Rui Hachimura get better. You don't become a 45% three-point shooter. You don't become a guy top in the league as far as field goal percentage without knocking down shots at a consistent rate. And he was doing that, especially in the postseason where it matters. So I honestly am a little bit disappointed that the Lakers were not able to come to an agreement. Now it all depends on how much his actual market and value is. That's going to be the biggest thing to kind of see which teams are willing to pay Rui Hachimura that much money. And if they're not going to be paying him essentially that much money, then that's kind of a failure on the Lakers' end. But Mamu, to kind of give some quick thoughts, he's a stretch big. You're not going to see him that much down in the perimeter. He does he does do some stuff off the dribble. He's actually not that bad of a playmaker. He does kind of keep the offense flowing. You don't want to see the ball get stagnant. Mamu is a guy that you were going to see paired up when there's time that they need to get the big man out. You know, you want spacing. You want to provide a lot more dribble penetration. That's where you probably will start to see Mamu come in. Very undersized big. Don't really see him that much as a rim protector. Curious to see how JJ Redick and the Lakers coaching staff are going to utilize him, especially on that end of the floor, because that was always been the biggest concern with the Lakers is how can they defend. Your thoughts on this signing and in comparison to Rui Hachimura?
I really can't have a full verdict on Mamu versus Rui until we see what he signs for. If it ends up really comparable money, then I would have preferred to keep Rui just because, if nothing else, he's a far more proven player. Like, Mamu is coming off a good season with the Raptors, but it's really the one full season he's had. It's the only one he's played an entire season averaging 20-plus minutes, and it's in the low 20s. Mm. You know, his three-point percentage is good, but it has never been at crazy high volume. Yeah. Flip side, as you pointed out before, Rui doesn't always put up as many shots as you would like. I think, personally, they didn't get him the ball enough. But regardless, like, he is not as established a player on any level as Rui. Like, it's interesting. The money is maybe 40%, if I'm doing the math right, of what they're paying Kessler. Yeah. But you could argue that they're taking the biggest bet on Mamu. Yes. Just because they are really banking on parlaying this one season into something bigger. Like, if Mamu ends up the starting four on this team, he's started, I want to say, maybe 30 games in his entire career. Yeah. Like, something like that. Like, there is a lot that is essentially a futures bet with Mamu. I agree with you. He's done some interesting stuff, like putting the ball on the floor. I would say he is more of a wheel greaser and somebody who keeps the blender going more than Rui. Like, Rui is, you know, if he averages 2 assists a game, that's him channeling his inner magic. Yeah. Like, he's not a playmaker by any stretch of the imagination. And Mamu has been part of a good defense with Toronto. Now, you could argue they had a hell of a defense there, yes, so did. You probably could have... Scotty
Barnes, between R.J. Barrett, between Jamal Shedd. Like, they have some guys that can get after.
Jakob Poeltl, that's basically the only thing he can do. Exactly. But he's good at that. Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see how much Mamu requires structure. Yeah, for defensively, sure. Like, you could probably make an argument that if you put Rui in that defense, Rui would have been just fine. Yeah. I am very intrigued by Mamu. I think in its own right, Mamu is the riskiest bet they're making just because it is really off the smallest sample size.
Yeah, I agree. And to kind of go down the list, you saw Colin Sexton signed that 2-year, $19 million deal. He's going to be a good rotational player as far as, how much energy he provides. He's kind of
Points
that
off
spark.
the bench.
Points off the bench. He's a spark plug, really energized guy. He does take pride on the defensive end of the basketball court, which I love. You need more of that, especially when it comes to Luka Doncic and Reaves.
Excellent hair.
Excellent hair. Very excellent hair. But the only thing that I'm kind of worried about Colin Sexton is that he's kind of been bouncing around a little bit from team to team, with Utah, Charlotte, Chicago. Now we currently with the Los Angeles Lakers. I think he was on another team. I could be wrong, but
he's been with Utah.
Yeah, I said he was at Utah, Chicago, Charlotte,
Cleveland.
There you go, Cleveland, and then now with the Los Angeles. So five different teams.
At least.
You could be wrong. So he's trying to get in that prove it. Of course, he has that second year on the player option. So this is kind of a prove it year for Colin Sexton to kind of see that he's essentially going to be on the market. Not a terrible move, cost friendly, so it's not that big of a deal. But as far as adding more into, they're looking at it as far as perimeter guy, defender, being able to switch on to, being able to switch into JJ Redick defensive model. Because you say it all the time, AK, why the hell do the Lakers switch so much? And now you add a guy like him, it just added more to your depth on the bench side.
Yeah, the biggest thing I see with Sexton is just the idea of points off the bench and a proven scorer in that type of role. And last year, the Lakers were starved for scoring off the bench. So Sexton, I think, checks a big box there. Like we talked about earlier, like all of these moves in a vacuum, I think you can make positive points about it. Curious to see how it all fits together. We were talking about Grimes, you being surprised that Philly let him walk.
Yes.
There had been a lot of talk that the Sixers were ultimately going to have to decide between Grimes and Kelly Oubre, and they might not be able to keep both. We'll see where Oubre lands. But the Lakers have been linked to Oubre. There is a part of me that we'll see how much money Oubre ultimately makes, where he wants to be, whatever. But it's a part of me that would have preferred Oubre over Sexton just so they have more size.
Exactly.
Like Oubre is bigger than both Sexton and Grimes.
And he defends, man.
Yeah, he's actually turned into a pretty, if nothing else, active defender, which he was not at the beginning of his career at all.
Yeah, and he has some offensive game to him. He can space the floor out. He can spot up and shoot a little bit.
Yeah, and he's in the back end of his prime, but he's still pretty athletic for a guy his age. Again, just Sexton in a vacuum makes total sense for a lot of what the Lakers needed to do. He's also very much a Rob Pelinka type of player. He loves combo guards, that type of scoring combo guard. I want to wait to see how all the dust settles. I think there is a chance that were Oubre truly available, he might have filled more overall needs for the team, even if you can argue Sexton fills a more specific one, maybe even a more pressing one with that scoring off the bench, more than Oubre could have filled anything else just because he's not an elite defender.
Mm-hmm.
But he does have more size. So be interested with that. It'll be interesting to see what the Lakers do with the remaining, I want to say they've got like veterans minimums.
For sure.
Maybe they got a little bit more cap space, and I'll be curious to see if they offload anybody, what becomes of DeAndre Ayton. Is he able to wrap his mind around a backup role? What becomes of Jackson Hayes, Luka's fellow Slovenian?
He's still on the market.
Still in the market, and by all accounts, wants to be here. And
he loves it here.
And he has handcuffed himself to Luka.
Yes.
I mean, again, he just adopted Slovenian nationality. Like, I don't even know if he's ever been to Slovenia.
Yeah.
But he is officially a member of like the Slovenian national team.
For sure.
And he also shares an agent with Luka.
Exactly.
And Luka actually brought out a lot of good in Jackson.
He did.
So it'll be interesting to see what becomes of that. But the Lakers got younger.
Yep.
There is more, I think, bones and hints of Rob's vision and sort of like their structure. I like that, if nothing else, he committed to a lot of players.
Yes.
As opposed to doing these 1 year, 2 years stopgap where it always feels like we're, waiting for the next star to fall. And like, no, this summer needed to have a framework.
Yes.
They have a framework.
Yep.
And they got their number one target. So in that sense, there was a lot of good work being done. I think there are risks. I think there are question marks. Still have to think about some of this, but I think I think Rob accomplished a lot of what he set out to do.
Yeah.
We will grade whether or not his goals were the right ones.
And by the way, you mentioned that, a lot of risk that went into it. Someone in the YouTube chat brought it up, and I mentioned it to you before we started the show, is that the Lakers will not have 7 first-round picks. Is that right? Or 7 picks in general?
I need to look to see, like, which of these may get freed up as we get closer to the draft, something like that. I know they have no immediate firsts at their disposal.
So let's make sure we clarify that.
I'm pretty sure.
No immediate first right now for the Los Angeles Lakers. So with that being said, they're not going to have a first-round draft pick for, as it's looking right now, for a couple of years.
I got to take a look and see what's in the hopper. Like with the Stepien rules, sometimes it's about you can't trade them.
Yeah.
Even if you may have them, you can't trade first-round picks in consecutive years.
Gotcha.
So some of this is what was at their disposal versus what they may have. I got to take a look at it. Overall, they're not going to be steeped in first that much, I'm confident in saying.
For sure. And just to kind of read some more, people were just asking, because Jonathan Kuminga, the Atlanta Hawks declined his team option, and he's in the market right now. People in the YouTube chat asking as far as, could that be something that the Lakers could generate interest in? But I don't think Jonathan Kuminga is going to be that minimum.
I mean, dude, after everything Kuminga's gone through with all of his contracts, if he signs somewhere with a minimum, I mean, he should have fired his agent like 2 years ago.
Exactly.
But if that's where, because his agent talks way too much. But if that's where he ends up, like on a make good with the Lakers on a minimum, while awesome for the Lakers,
yes,
that is a horrible turn of events for Kuminga.
It is very, very much so.
I mean,
very much so.
Wow.
And then one more thing before we end this episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning into Lakers Talk Daily, a special edition of NBA Free Agency Frenzy. Right here, by the way, we're in the Pizza Content Studio. If you guys have not seen
it's my first time in here.
The beautiful Pizza Content Studio. So shout out to our friends at Pizza. But
nobody out contents the hut, man.
We got to do one. No one out contents the hut.
You can have that Pizza Hut for free. That one's on me. I do our partners well, man.
Exactly.
I'm always looking out.
One last question that I've seen popped up in the YouTube chat is, seeing Lakers draft Cameron Carr. And everyone's having that question as far as, is he going to be a rotational guy? Can we see him get minutes? And also, Adu Thiero, is he going to be a guy that we see get a lot of minutes? And I did say this. I did say that this is going to be a good summer for Adu Thiero and especially Cameron Carr. Adu Thiero missed all last year.
I can't wait to watch them in summer league.
Yeah, Adu Thiero missed all summer league. He missed training camp because he had some injuries. After he was drafted by Los Angeles Lakers. So I'm curious to see how he will benefit from this with the full offseason. And also Cameron Carr, 6'5", 7'1" wingspan, has a higher ceiling than from a lot of people that have been reporting. He kind of dropped. He dropped a little bit in the draft. A lot of people thought he'd be a mid first round pick. But curious to see your thoughts. I do believe at least summer league is going to be big as far as JJ Redick's trust in the younger guys. I mean, this team is already young. I mean, Austin Reaves is the oldest
summer league. Let
the young guys play.
Let the pups go.
Let them go.
It's the summer league.
Exactly. But the biggest thing is, can we trust? Is JJ Redick going to have enough trust in moments to put a guy like Cameron Carr and a guy like Adu Thiero and who have athleticism, and the Lakers can utilize that athleticism on the court?
He did experiment a little bit with Thiero in the playoffs, which that was something. Like because Adu Thiero barely even played in the G League. He was hurt all year. So his willingness to even play Thiero like 5 minutes in the playoffs, like in actual minutes, not garbage time. I think if nothing else, it speaks to being intrigued by what Thiero can offer, and also, frankly, the athleticism that was badly missing with this team. I think this is a big offseason for Thiero. I think if Thiero can even play 10 minutes a night, that could be really useful just with the athleticism. Cameron Carr, first of all, crushed his introductory press conference.
Yeah, he did. He was on with you and Mason.
Yeah, he was on with.
Momo. I'm sorry.
Momo, and he was fantastic. Like he has done a great job, I think, just introducing himself, and he I think projects a lot of confidence without being cocky or arrogant. I remember talking with Tyler Metcalf, who's a draft expert with No Ceilings, after they drafted Carr. We actually had him on Mason, Ireland, and I believe this was Cameron Carr. I believe this is Tyler Metcalf who said this, but that he felt that Carr might not be ready for playoff minutes.
Okay.
But regular season minutes he thought could be possible for him. And if nothing else, man, that matters.
Okay.
Like the ability to build out a regular season rotation so you don't end up overloading Luka and Austin, to keep guys fresh. You know, he's got athleticism, he's got length, he's got shooting, he's got the ability to play above the rim and to, attack. I think JJ will be open to it, like most coaches. It will take a lot because all coaches are just reluctant to play rookies. They tend to be super risk averse. That being said, it's already clear he doesn't want to play Dalton. He doesn't want to play Vando.
Yep.
I'm not looking to relitigate any of this. It is what it is by now.
Yep.
You have to, and JJ said he wants more options. You have to be willing to give those options a chance. And if they're Carr and Thero, you got to be willing to live with a little bit of mistakes for the sake of the bigger picture.
I totally agree. Well, unfortunately, our time has come to an end for Lakers Talk Daily, a special edition of NBA free agency. The Lakers made a lot of moves this morning. Walker Kessler, Quentin Grimes, Colin Sexton, Mamu. I'm not going to say his last name. I'm going to keep on learning and see if we can actually say that at a more fluid level. But for myself, my guy AK, thank you so much for always joining me.
Anytime, man.
And for you guys in the YouTube chat, appreciate you guys. Hopefully we can talk to you guys. I can talk to you guys soon to provide you guys some more free agency content. But have a great rest of your day, and I will see you. Oh, you guys will see AK right now with Mace. And you guys can catch me on the DeMarco and Travis afternoon show in a little bit. Have a good rest of your day, y'all.
Good?
Yep. Yeah. Sorry about that.